Hello, vinyl community. How you doing? It's Bill with the Vinylverse. Last week, my family, we drove down to Charlotte, North Carolina to be with my wife's sister and her family. We spent the week there, and it was a very good trip. Kids were great in the car, both going down and coming home, so we're real thankful for that. It was good to get away. But before heading down, I made plans to go catch up with Jon, the Digital Gramophone, Dave at Localbandography, and one of the things I really wanted to do was visit Noble Records. So I got in touch with Dillon and let him know that I was coming. And Thursday of last week, made it to Noble Records and went digging with Jon, Digital Gramophone. And then later in the day, caught up with Dave at Localbandography, and Dillon was gracious enough to come in. He doesn't work at the shop on Thursdays, but I let him know I was coming. He took some time out of his day and came into the shop. So it was great to see Dillon. 2 years ago, I went down to Charlotte and was lucky enough to meet Dillon and Jon and Dave, as well as Chris from Tunes from the Man Cave. Chris was busy this time around, so he couldn't make it. But yeah, it was great getting together with Jon and Dave and seeing Dillon again. So the day started out. I drove out to Jon's house to pick him up, and I was greeted at the door by Jon's son, Sam. Sam, founding member of the band Rotten Leaf. Yeah, it was great to meet Sam. I got to meet Jon's wife and Jon's daughter as well. So I was greeted at the door, like I said, and Sam had made me a note here. He drew that, which is very nice, and it's actually like a homemade envelope there, and he told me to open it up, and I did, and inside of this was a penny. So Sam contributed a penny to my record digging, so thank you, Sam. This was very thoughtful of you. Sam was nice to make me a little note, so that was very cool. And I was also greeted by Jon with a couple records. Now, this first one, a week or two prior to me coming down, he had gone to Lunchbox Records, one of the local shops there in Charlotte, and told me he saw this album, Tangram by Tangerine Dream, and I told him I didn't have that one. I was looking for it. So he picked it up for me. But I wasn't going to let him get away with just giving it to me. So I sent him the money. So thank you, Jon. So he gave me this. But then he also had another record for me, surprisingly. And his words were something to the effect that this deserves to be more in my collection than his, and it is Phil Collins' Series Hits Live. Yeah, I didn't have this. Jon knew that because he had talked about it before and I mentioned it. So he gifted me his copy, which was incredibly generous of him. This is the 1990 tour that Phil Collins did in the round. Had kind of like a circus theme. Great show. I caught it a couple times on that tour. Yeah, I was stoked to get this from Jon. Very, very generous gift. So thanks again, Jon, for picking up Tangram for me and giving me Phil Collins' Serious Hits Live. That was great. So from there, Jon and I grabbed a bite to eat, got some good, authentic North Carolina barbecue, And then we made our way to Noble Records and spent the next 2 hours inside the store digging through records. So, and talking with Dillon. So that was great. Noble Records, really, it was really cool to be there. You see Dillon making videos from the store from time to time, and it was really cool to actually be in the store. Man, he's got a great variety of stuff in there. All the bins are almost all full, so there's a lot to go through. Like I said, a lot of variety, and I picked up a good stack here that I'm going to go over. So yeah, great being at Noble Records. If you're ever in the Matthews, North Carolina area, or Charlotte, make it a point to stop at Noble Records and support Dillon. He's got a pretty good thing going there. And thanks again, Dillon, for making your coming into the store just to come see us. So that was great. So one of the things I picked up was a sticker. Vinyl isn't going anywhere. It says Noble Records at the bottom. So I wanted to get that to support the shop. And then I got a good healthy stack of vinyl here. Starting with Robert Fripp's solo album Exposure from 1979. Surprisingly, I didn't have this. I have the EP of this, For From Exposure, I think that EP is called, but I didn't have the actual album. So happy to have found this. 1979 on the, can you see that, the EG label? Yeah, so very cool. This is the third album in that trilogy of albums that Robert Fripp had produced. The first being Peter Gabriel's second solo album, and then Daryl Hall's Sacred Songs album, and then this, Exposure, his own solo album. So that was the first thing I grabbed. And then I was so stoked to find these next two. Checked a couple off on my want list here. And these are both from Airto. This is Airto Free. So Airto is the Brazilian percussionist. He was in the band Return Forever. He played with Miles Davis on Bitches Brew and Live Evil and several others. So this is Free from 1972 on the CTI label. So really cool to find this. If you can catch that, CTI. And I also got the follow-up to this album, Airto Fingers from 1973, I believe. Yes, recorded in 1973. So very cool to find these. Like I said, these had been on my want list, so checking those off was great. Haven't been able to listen to these yet. We just got back. Excuse me, we're down Sunday to Sunday. So filming this on Wednesday. I haven't had a chance to get through these yet. Another one I was really stoked to get on ECM is Jack DeJohnette Special Edition. From, what is this, recorded in 1979, but put out in 1980. So this is on ECM. Let's see here. So, big Jack DeJohnette fan, and I tried to pick up whatever I see by him. There's Jack in those pictures. Drummer extraordinaire, also played with Miles Davis on Bitches Brew. So yeah, very, very cool find here. Happy to have that one. got a classic album here, J.J. Johnson Quartet, A Touch of Satin from 1961. This is a demonstration not for sale promo. So yeah, really cool to find this. It's in really nice shape. On a little dusty, but on 6i Columbia here. So this was 1961, like I said, and J.J. Johnson had been playing with Cannonball Adderley, I believe, and he took the rhythm section from Cannonball Adderley once they were off that tour to record this album. It actually says that on here. Excuse me. Last year, while touring in Europe, I had the pleasure of appearing as soloist with accompaniment by Julian Cannonball Adderley's rhythm section, Victor Feldman on piano, Sam Jones bass, and Louis Hayes on drums. To say the least, I enjoyed the experience the most, so much so that with Cannonball's approval, we recorded this immediately upon returning from Europe. So J.J. Johnson Quartet, A Touch of Satin. This is in very nice shape. Then next, really stoked to find this. This is the Three Sounds and their album Black Orchid from 1962. I think it's 1962. This is original on Blue Note, New York labels, the Plastid ear, Van Gelder stamp. So yeah, great condition. Really stoked to have this. Three Sounds they just put out solid albums. They were very popular back in the day and put out many albums for Blue Note. So definitely thrilled to add this one to the collection. And then the final thing I got at Noble Records was a music on vinyl release of Paladin and their second album, Charge. Second and last album, I believe. I think they only put out 2 albums. This is prog rock, kind of hard rock, prog rock. Great Roger Dean artwork. And this music on vinyl release is on limited edition of 1,000 silver colored copies, individually numbered. And this is number 654 in a silver stamp there. I don't know if you can catch that there. So let's pull it out here. Like I said, Roger Dean did the artwork for it. That's very cool. It's the gatefold. And nice silver vinyl there. So this was a very cool pickup as well. This was another one on my want list, so another one checked off the list. Okay, so that is everything I picked up at Noble Records. And like I said, that was a lot of fun being at Noble Records and getting to see the store and hanging out with Dillon and Jon for that dig. Dillon took off right as we were just about to check out. So thanks again, Dillon, for making the time to come see me. Very much appreciated. Really enjoyed seeing you in the store. So from there, Jon and I made our way to Tip Top Daily Market and the side record store, which is Premium Sound. And we get there, and lo and behold, Dave is already there looking through the records. So great to see Dave again. So we spent some time at Premium Sound going through the records. I picked another stack here from there. In typical Dave fashion, he comes walking over and hands me this. Elvin Jones at the Lighthouse from 1972 on Blue Note. So Dave is notorious for spending people's money, and he tradition held true. So yeah, this is a great live album at the Lighthouse. Like I said, this is original on Blue Note. The label's not coming up there. So, really excited to have this. Another one on the want list. It does have a corner cut, but I don't really care about that. So thank you, Dave, for showing me that one and making me pick it up. So then I just started browsing and I found this. This is a cool find. This is the Rhythmatist by Stuart Copeland, and this is the alternate cover that was in the UK, I believe. So very cool. This is from 1985. So this album is Stuart Copeland did some recording out in Africa, did some field recording, and put together this album in 1985. The original cover, hard to see, but it's actually this little image down here that takes up this section. So really thrilled to find this one. I've had the CD for years, probably since the late 80s. So cool to finally have it on vinyl. And this is on A&M Records. Pretty common record label there. So the Rhythmatist, Stuart Copeland. Cool find. After looking around a little while longer, looked in the new arrivals, I made my way over to Jazz, and I noticed there was a kind of a classical electronic ambient section, and that is where I scored these next few albums here. So the remaining albums from that shop, Premium Sound. First being Tangerine Dream. This is Live Miles from 1988. Side A is the Albuquerque concert, and side B is the West Berlin concert. So Tangerine Dream at this point was Edgar Froese, Paul Haslinger, and Chris Franke. So yeah, just continuing to fill out the Tangerine Dream collection. And this is on Caroline Records, and it's a kind of a Virgin record label there that just says Caroline Records at the bottom. So cool to have found this. And then I found two Vangelis records. This one, Albedo 039. I was familiar with this one, and it is from 1976. But didn't have it, and this was in the shrink when I got it, but I took the shrink off. It was kind of torn in the back, so I just decided to take it off. And yeah, very cool to have found this one. This is on RCA Victor, in really nice condition. And then this was one I was not familiar with, so I took a chance on it. And out of everything, this is the only one I've listened to. It is Vangelis Boborg. And so the original had a different cover, and I believe this was on the either inside the gatefold or on the insert inside. This is from 1978. This also is on the RCA Victor label. Before I grabbed it, I did do a quick look up on Discogs to see the style of music it said, and I saw experimental, electronic, and ambient. So, which isn't a surprise for Vangelis, but yeah, I took a chance, listened to this last night, I believe, and was it the night before or last night? I think it was last night. And wow, this is great. This is really great. This is not for everybody. This truly is experimental. Not much, pretty abstract, not much structure to it, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. So this one is going to be going back on very soon, and stoked that I picked this up. And both of these Vangelis albums were really cheap, so I was really excited to grab these. And then the final thing that I picked up at Premium Sound, it's a reissue, but I was so glad to have found Terry Riley in C. The classic minimalist album from Terry Riley from 1968, and this is a reissue from 2012. So it's got a nice glossy cover. It's on the Columbia Masterworks label. See that there. So I've never actually seen this album in the wild, and this is one that's been on my wild list for a long time. So it was there. Even though it's a reissue, I decided to grab it. And I'm excited. I'm very excited to have this. So Terry Riley was kind of right there in the forefront of the minimalist composers, where it's just kind of music that kind of just builds upon itself, repeating melody, and then adding instruments into it, maybe slightly changing here or there, but yeah, Terry Riley and C. Another one to check off the want list. And that is everything I picked up at Premium Sound. So from there, Dave, Jon, and I went to a place to grab something to eat for dinner. Kind of a local legendary place called Loopy's there. Dave is very fond of the place, and it was great. Yeah, so we had we had a great dinner. Great to catch up and talk and have a bite to eat and a couple drinks. And once we were done dinner, we went out to the parking lot and kind of just showed everything that we got to each other. Because I guess as we were digging, weren't paying too much attention to what the others had bought. So they wanted to see what I picked up. I wanted to see what they picked up. So all in all, it was a real good time. And yeah, so we plan to go down pretty much annually. So hopefully we'll be doing this again next year. We missed last year, obviously, because of COVID. So it was great to catch up with Jon and Dave again. We had a great time. So I didn't film any video on the trip just kind of caught up in the moment of digging for records and just being with Jon and Dave, and didn't even think about putting on the camera to like record video. So I did get a couple pictures, which I'm sure you saw while I was putting into this video. But that's it. So yeah, Jon and Dave, they were very hospitable towards me, and it was great catching up with them, and just a great time. Really, for me, the highlight of the trip. So digging for records and being with good people, great people. Yeah, really good time. So then, since I was down there during Record Store Day, actually we left on Sunday. I wasn't able to get out to Record Store Day, which was the day before I left. Just preparing for the trip, and we had a party to go to. So my local store, Siren Records, they have a Patreon program, so I'm a Patreon for them. They kind of started that up during when everything was shut down, to try to help keep things going there, so I was happy to oblige with that. One of the perks, though, is that Record Store Day, you can give them your want list, and as long as they have it, they will hold it for you. So I was grateful for that, because they held 3 things for me that I wanted for Record Store Day. So I thought I'd just tag this on to the end of this video and show you what I got for Record Store Day. I picked these up on yesterday, Tuesday. On my lunch break, I went over to Siren Records and picked these up that they were holding for me. Obviously, Genesis. They had a 12-inch release. It's Live at Nebworth and Mama on one side, and the Turn It On Again medley on the other side. So this was recorded live at Nebworth, June 30th, 1990. So just the completest of Genesis, for just me being the big Genesis fan and being a completist, I kind of had to get this. So the Turn It On Again medley, at this point they were doing, it would start off with Turn It On Again, and then they'd go into Everybody Needs Somebody to Love, I Can't Get No Satisfaction, Twist and Shout, Reach Out, I'll Be There, You've Lost That Love and Feeling, Pinball Wizard, and then In the Midnight Hour, and then back into Turn It On Again. So cool little 12-inch by Genesis. Then one that a lot of people are showing, Kenny Dorham and his Quiet Kenny album, recorded in 1959, I believe. This was put out by Kraft. It's a mono edition. It says Kenny Dorham's classic 1959 album on New Jazz, recorded by Rudy Van Gelder, and featuring an all-star lineup including Tommy Flanagan, Paul Chambers, and Art Taylor. All analog mastering from the original mono tapes by Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio, pressed on 180 gram vinyl at RTI. So, haven't even split it open yet. So yeah, this was a big one that I wanted for this Record Store Day drop. And the other big one that I wanted was Tangerine Dream, and they're live in Rheims Cathedral, December 13th, 1974. And again, I haven't opened it yet. This actually is a picture disc. It's got that kind of stained glass picture on the albums there. It's got a 16-page booklet. First cathedral concert ever in Europe. It was so controversial. After this concert, the Vatican forbade all rock shows in churches. Yeah, so it was excited to pick this up. I saw Derek Higgins had spun this the other day, and he said it was great. So, the pressing, that is. So, I'm excited to check it out. Just haven't done that yet. Those are the 3 things that I picked up for Record Store Day, and while I was in Siren Records, I decided to just briefly browse, and I ended up picking this up. It's Popol Vuh, and their Die Nacht der Seele album, Tantric Songs. This is 1979. It's a 2016 reissue on Wawa Records. This comes out of Spain, and there's the label. So I spun this last night, and yeah, big fan of Popol Vuh. This is great. Sounds great too. So happy to pick that up as well. So that's it for this video. Fun week down in Charlotte last week. Great to catch up with Jon, Dave, and Dillon, and pick up a nice healthy stack of records. Yeah, so I've been really out of the loop with watching videos. Being away really threw me off, and but I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. Oh, I just realized I'm wearing my Noble Records shirt. That wasn't planned at all. I should have pointed that out earlier. All right, so thanks for watching this. I know this was a long video. Appreciate you watching. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope you're all safe and doing good. And that's going to do it for me. I will catch up with you all soon with another video. A couple contests that I got to get into. I haven't been doing contests lately, but there's 2 that I need to, maybe 3 that I need to get in. I know the deadlines are coming up soon, so you'll probably be seeing some contest entries from me soon, plus another episode of the 80s Singles Vault coming up soon, hopefully, if I can get that together. So everyone, take care. Thanks for watching, and I will catch up with you all soon.